Unrelegated, Queens of the South, finally back in my home studio, Casa de la Kelly. I said that completely wrong, but we're just gonna go with it. Welcome back, we're glad to have you. We're just sitting here, chilling. A lot's gone on in our lives recently. What have you got going on?
Well, I am preparing for a new arrival. I'm not pregnant. I'm not pregnant. I will be having...
Yeah, that's just it's a little bit worrisome when you lead it off like that.
Well, I thought I'd be dramatic.
That was a very
surprise. No,
surprise.
No, I haven't even told Sebastian if it was. No, we are going to get a puppy. We are having a puppy. I have a puppy coming on the 22nd of May. That is part of the reason why we had to sort of bail out of New York, but we will have a baby puppy coming, so I'm excited for that.
That's exciting regardless.
Yeah.
What kind of a puppy is it?
We're getting a pug. Do I look like a pug mom? I think I look like a pug mom.
Yes, you do, but only the kind of pug mom that will also be like Tito is and dance around with the pug and like put silly outfits on the
Do you think Tito
pug.
will go on like a pug
date?
Yeah,
with
maybe
your
we can
pug?
put up pug dates.
Maybe your pug should get old enough to go on a date first.
I shouldn't be pimping out my 8-week-old puppy, should I, for Tito?
Pug limitations here, people.
Pug rights to pugs.
Oh, that's amazing. Have you already decided what you're going to name him, her? Is it a her?
I think it's a girl, and we're working on it, but we're thinking of something like Mulan, just because pugs are Chinese, you know, Mulan's a badass lady, and it's kind of cool.
Like that is probably one of my favorite Disney movies, just because...
it kind of empowers women.
Yeah.
Kind of. She's doing it all for the man, but, you know.
Oh, they're also making a live action video of that. Did you know that?
Like in 2020.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's next year. Jesus. 2020 sounds so far away, and it's like 7 months away.
I'm sitting here thinking Nashville's never going to join, nor is Miami, but they're supposed to be joining next year, so we'll see. Who knows? I just had speaking of puppies, my dog is 4 years old now and decided to sit in front of a heater and allow part of her fur to be burned off for some unknown reason. So I've been going through a little bit of a doggy protection crisis with my own 80-pound fluff nugget. So it's been a week full of dog issues. Or not blessings and issues.
Honestly, your story kind of terrifies me about being a pug mom. I think that dogs bring a lot of love, but they also bring a lot of financial, burdens.
Yeah, I think that just goes with the personality of the dog, and mine's incredibly lazy. But we're getting way off topic, so let's go ahead and go into the crust of the details. We are going to have a crap ton of games in a very short span of time. We've already had 2 games in the past week. We're going to have 2 more this end of the week. We've got a few more coming up before the end of the month. I mean, we are going through a full stretch of congestion, just like we went through with CCL.
MLS knows how to schedule things, right?
Yeah,
they really know how to schedule things.
And then we have 2-3 weeks off after that for the international break. So it's going to be this whole flurry of us getting a lot of information to you, and then a smooth week after that.
But we have the Women's World Cup, so
we do. That's
going to be very exciting.
That's going to be super exciting. So let's go ahead and get into... midweek, maybe a little bit of Toronto 2-0 win. I gotta say, it was midweek last week, so it's sort of hard to go back to a midweek game when you've already had a weekend game. But I will say that when I was in the stadium at that game last week, it felt to me for the first time since we started the season like we were getting back to the way we were. And it obviously led into the game that we played recently against Orlando, where we had a 1-0 win, a good game, I think, in my mind. We sort of got a little tired at the end of the second half, but we pressured through it, and we won against our rivals again. And might I say, going into the details of this rivalry, we are 5-0-2 against Orlando.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
It's impressive, but also it leads that debate of, are we rivals if it's not a true
I just don't understand. I'm not going to go into it, but rivalries are just a weird thing over here, particularly when they haven't existed for a long time. Rivalries are all based in history and based in classism and lots of different things in Europe. It's rooted in far more than, okay, it's fairly close to us.
Yeah.
So I think that a lot of the time the hate is sort of manufactured, and that's okay. It's fun. It's all fun and games, and we're joining in with sports culture. But it is hard to call it a rivalry. And also, rivalries aren't always based on how competitive the two teams are. Reading, the team I support, has a rivalry with a team called Swindon Town. And I don't remember the last time we played them. I must have been about 10, because they're not even in the same division.
Right.
But they're still the ones you hate.
Yeah.
They're still the ones you sing songs about. So it's an interesting thing when it comes to rivalries here. I'm all for it. I think it's a nice part of fan culture. It gives Twitter some banter, you know.
Yes.
There was a lot of fun.
In your opinion, then, who is your opinion of who's Atlanta's biggest rival?
I don't know if we have a rival yet. You know, I think
Just
it takes
time.
Yeah, it takes something to happen. It takes a big sort of history to sort of build up. But if you go with geography, yeah, right now it would be Orlando. I guess it's the closest team. When Nashville comes, technically
Possibly
that moves
Nashville,
closer.
yeah.
But again, it's so new. It's hard to develop a rivalry unless we manufacture it.
Right.
And I guess that's what we're doing right now, and it's fun.
It has been manufactured
It's
a little,
fun.
but it's fun. It's fun banter. It's banters with a Z. But leading into to talking about that game, and we won 1-0. It's for us as our team. It's our fourth win of this. It's not our fourth win. It's our fourth straight
Consecutive.
win. Fourth consecutive
is the word
win
you're looking for
this season. Thank you very much. And we won 5 out of the last 6. So as far as the way that we were sort of, as a team base, felt like we started off really rocky, I think we're coming now to a little bit more of where we're on this boat with everybody. It's a little bit more smooth sailing.
Without our Barco boat.
Without our Barco boat, but just a boat in general. Metaphors. But yeah, so we won 5 out of the last 6. And might I say, also good note for everybody, is that this weekend we were 3rd in world attendance with 68,000 being at the game versus Orlando for the manufactured rivalry. But basically, the only people we had in front of us were Dusseldorf at Borussia Dortmund and Cardiff at Manchester.
And Manchester United. There are
Manchester
two
United,
Manchesters in. That's a rivalry.
Yes, that is a
United and
rivalry.
City. Now that's a real rivalry. But that's a crazy stat when you think about it, because that's the last game of the Premier League season.
Yeah.
Congrats, Man City, for beating Liverpool. I know we're probably got a few people that are still heartbroken over that, but that's a really cool stat, and that wasn't even that impressive of a turnout for us. I mean, it was a Sunday. It was Mother's Sunday. It was freaking 2:30 p.m., which is I don't like that kickoff time at all. It feels so early. It's kind of nice because you have a little bit of a day afterwards, but it's also weird. It's kind of nice to just go home with your win and go to sleep.
Yeah.
You know, and smile and feel good about yourself and then get a good night's sleep. Instead, you've got to live a whole day and talk a load about it. But I prefer it to next week's, or tomorrow's kickoff, rather.
Yeah. Ooh, that's going to be a tough kickoff. We'll talk about that a little later when we have the general thoughts coming up. But what were your thoughts overall about the game?
Well, I wanted to touch on the fact you talked about the consecutive wins. The fact that we've had 4 shutouts in a row is a really, really convincing stat, honestly.
Yeah.
It's been something that we've struggled with in the past, keeping shutouts, and it's a real nice stat for the defenders, and it shows how we're coming together as a unit, and potentially you could argue that's some of De Boer's influence coming in. You know, he's a prolific defender in his time, and it's good to know that it's rubbing off on our players. I got a dog right in front of me, just cheesing at me, talking about defenders. But I don't really want to get into negatives quite yet, but I will touch on it. As much as we got the shutout, it wasn't that convincing at times. There were multiple occasions where it looked like we were playing out the back a little bit too much, getting a little bit too comfortable on the ball. Of course, we have our usual culprit with that, LGP. You know, fantastic player, but sometimes a little bit too confident. You know, leading the way with heart attacks for Brad Guzan was one of my favorite commentary notes I ever heard. That was on...
What was it again?
I think it was Kevin said, and leading the stats for the most heart attacks given to Brad Guzan is LGP.
As LGP.
It's true. I think sometimes he just gets a little bit too comfortable, and in a 1-0 game, you can't be taking risks like that. There were a few times where we turned over the ball. I'll call Brad out. I think he had a fantastic game, and I said that time and time again on Twitter because I give that guy a hard time coming from a goalkeeper background. His footwork was better, his reactions were better, but he made a few strange decisions that I think were based on the fact he was feeling himself a little bit. Number one strange decision, trying to save a corner kick and tipping the ball back into play right in front of your goal. Yes, I understand it's bad to have a corner, but if you're being chased by a forward, why put the ball back into possession? Number two, I don't know if anyone remembers the time where he came out and tried to take a touch with his chest and clear it on a half volley, that kind of thing, where he could have just headed it out of bounds. I'll speak from a goalkeeper. I know how it is. When you're feeling yourself, when you're having a great game, you want to get your hands on everything. You want to be in the middle of everything. You often see goalkeepers make mistakes after they've made a great save at the corner kick because they want to come for the corner and get their hands on it no matter what. I think Brad got into a little bit of that. He's a great goalkeeper. He is a great historic goalkeeper. He's proving that he can kind of keep up with the game, but I still think there's elements that he needs to modernize with. So that's kind of my dampening note. Yes, fantastic 4 shutouts.
Yeah.
But did Orlando miss a few chances that they probably should have put in the back?
They did.
Yeah, that would be my thing. We look a little bit shaky at the back still. There's few times where we get complacent and comfortable.
And De Boer said that in his post-match comments. He basically said, yeah, at times we got a little bit of lax, and will we get punished for that later? Absolutely. If we continue to have this same sort of behavior where there's a place where you can feel comfortable on the ball, and then there's a place where you can feel overly confident on the ball, and there's a hard difference between the two of those. So I would absolutely agree with you that there have been times that we have looked lax on defense, and it has led to times where we've had
leaded.
I don't care. It's led to times where there have been some heart attacks. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that against a stronger opposition, that they punish you for those errors. So it's something we need to look on. It's something we need to work on.
It's something that we should look for going towards Red Bulls on this upcoming Sunday. For sure, because they're going to press, and you do not want to be lax on defense with that.
No.
But let's go a little bit. We talked a little about defense. Let's go a little bit into the attack. Main man, Pity Martinez, finally got his shot on goal. Pity Martinez. I sort of called it. I said on Twitter that he would score a goal before the 26th minute, and it was minute. I'm looking at Jay. I don't know if Jay knows it.
No idea.
It was minute something. There's a Twitter video of me reacting.
She's not just reacting. There's a Twitter video of Kelly shoving it in your face. Literally straight in your face that she called it. She was very happy with herself.
There was some profanity. I was very hype. All I can say is that.
She said hype, just to confirm, because I don't know how much you pronunciated that.
There was a lot of hype. There was a lot of hype. I called it. It just made me very happy because I had to let everybody know that I called it, because I felt like I was really proud of myself. I was really proud of myself for that.
But I think everyone was delighted for him. It was nice to see that vibe in the crowd. I know there's been quite a few times in the past games where we've heard some sighs, we've heard some frustrations with him, and it was nice to see everyone suddenly change their colors. That's how we are, let's be real. But it felt nice to celebrate with him, and his celebration was pretty cool. We have a dog in the building.
My dog is really not liking me right now. Do you want to say something about Pity? Is that
she's not a Pity fan. She thinks he should have scored more goals.
I mean, look, I've said it once and I've said it twice. Once you score the first one, you'll score multiple of them.
The floodgates will open, I believe the cliche is.
It was time coming, Piper. It was gonna happen.
Oh my God.
Good. Glad that I've addressed that now, because we can argue about this later, Piper.
But his celebration dusting off his bad luck and the sort of, frustrations that he's had, and it showed his change in attitude when he got subbed out. He was a lot happier. I was actually somehow I managed to luck my way into some club seats, and I was sat right behind the bench, and he went and said, good game. He was happy with being taken off, and I think he knew, we've got a schedule ahead, and I'm not going to last 90 minutes in 4 games over the next sort of 2 weeks.
You know what I found, though, with the past couple of games outside of the one game against Colorado, I believe, where he had that reaction, that he's been more understanding. I mean, it's him coming into a groove, I think, is what he was most frustrated with, is that when he was taken off at that game at that point in time when he was subbed for Tito, I believe, he was right at the precipice of making a contributing goal, and I think that's what frustrated him.
Yeah, he was subbed off right as he'd found his flow, and of course you're going to be pissed off just as you're about to find yourself. I did read some interesting stuff about his post-game interview when he was asked, how much pressure he felt on scoring goal. Said no pressure, play for River Plate. How did you feel about that? Because I know I've read mixed reviews. Some people thinking, kind of a bit arrogant, a bit of a weird flex, whatever people wanted to say. But
I don't think it is, though, because the Boca and River rivalry is
real.
It's real. It's renowned. It is a well-known rivalry. That game is extremely intense. There is a lot of pressure on that match and on that rivalry, not only in the stadium, obviously outside of the stadium, what happened last year. There's a lot going into that game. Mm-hmm. So, yes, it is a rivalry, and yes, Pity loves scoring at rivalry games, but it's just still this point at where MLS is still in its
early stages of being accepted around the world as a place to play soccer. It's not somewhere, and I hate to be disrespectful, but it's not somewhere that kids in other countries grow up and dream, oh, one day I'm going to play in MLS.
Yeah.
They're not thinking about that.
It's not there yet. I mean, you're going to have multiple years of us getting up to there, getting the prestige of having that, I guess, chip on our shoulder taken off from anybody that is in MLS, of this idea that we
are where stars go to die. That's a stereotype in England.
Absolutely.
We've seen Beckham.
It's changed. Obviously, we've seen it change over the past couple of years, especially when we talk about the transfers going out. That's going to eventually change the conversation as well. But it is still known around the world as not to the level of a La Liga or obviously
Premier League,
the Premier League or Serie A or any of those leagues, because they've been around for a very long time. We are still a baby in this market, or not in this market, but in this sport. So it's going to take time. And I think this idea that the pressure can be put on a player who's already experienced what some consider the ultimate pressure is a little, it's a play at trying to get a conversation started when it's not really there, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But I will say, this goes back to the whole idea of subbing off. He subbed off for Jeff. Mm-hmm. Or Jeff subbed on for him. I probably said that wrong, but that was Jeff's 400th appearance in an MLS game. That makes him the third MLS player to have ever reached that cap. And I do think it was really funny. I don't remember who pointed this out, but everybody's congratulating Jeff on social media, and he does not have social media. So I think it's a sort of like really fun.
It's because he's made 400 appearances.
Yeah.
Was Twitter even a thing when he started playing in MLS?
I don't think so. We could go back and ask questions to Jeff. Why are you still listening to CDs? And was Twitter a thing when you started?
And do you have a BlackBerry?
I'm
sure he has BBM.
That feels like something he would have.
I feel like he has
Or a flip phone, like one of those really old flip phones that there's not even like a picture on the front of it. It's just you flip it open and then you type the letters.
Or the mum phone with the freaking finger pin. But we were talking about forwards, and I wanted to touch on Joseph and the different way he's playing and how much I like how he's playing. I know a lot of people.
False nine.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have been not critical, but like to see him as just the finisher. But what a fantastic job he's done in dropping back and getting involved in the play and the link-up play.
Incredibly.
His skill base is huge, and we haven't really had a chance to showcase that in the past. He never really got a chance to show his footwork, his possession play, his passing play. But some of the link-up moves he made were absolutely stellar, and it was almost unrecognizable, the difference in the way he played, and it was exciting.
I think he knew going into this year, I mean, with the conditioning and the training that he did prior, that he was going to be playing a different role. That's something he knew going in, and he, being the great player he is, was willing to take that challenge. I mean, there is a prestige and a recognition that he got, obviously, with the amount of goals he scored last year and obviously the year prior, and the way that he is this sort of lethal weapon inside the box, and he's still that very much, but him playing as a false nine in the system, and De Boer said it as well, that he feels like Joseph is playing incredibly well, and this is exactly the way he wants him to play, with his link-up play and dropping back. It is adding more pressure on the defense because he is unpredictable, just like Tito is unpredictable. You've got these two unpredictable players coming at you on the defensive line, and you're having to decide going one way or the other, or who you mark more. It allows the attack going forward as a combination to be that much more dangerous.
Yeah, Joseph is just so versatile, and it's nice for him to get to show a different element of his play, and the goals will come. Yeah. But it shows that he's a team player too. He doesn't really care about the goals for himself. He cares about the team winning, and that's nice.
This is his home team. This is his home city. Him signing that 5-year deal at the beginning of this season told us that he's prepared to stay here. He's prepared to be the face of this team, and he is in every facet and form. He is the face of this team. That going forward, let's talk about the match upcoming in Vancouver. It's obviously a late kickoff for anybody here on the East Coast. It starts at 10 p.m. So I will most likely be in bed with my dog beside me, just streaming on my laptop, probably tweeting away while it's going on. But it's a late kickoff. It's a hard adjustment from East Coast to West Coast. And also, they're not bringing the starting 11 that they had, or not even the starting 11, the starting 18 that they had going to Vancouver. I mean, we obviously heard today, either today or yesterday, my days are mixed up, I apologize, that Nagbe and Parkhurst will not be making the trip, which is something very interesting because it leads into this conversation of rotation.
And I think it's important rotation. When you've got someone Parkhurst's age, you know, he's played a lot of minutes, he is getting older, and with all due respect...
Wait, he's getting older? That's how that happens?
Oh my God.
I had no idea.
But as he reaches that age where you don't see that many professionals playing into, you know, your mid-late 30s. Interestingly, the oldest player in the Premier League last year was 38 and he just retired. He said he went to bed at 9 p.m. His name's Bruno. He went to bed at 9 p.m. every single day. Bruno at Brighton Hove Albion, who, you know, let City beat them and took away Liverpool's Premier League. So Bruno's not very popular.
It's definitely all his fault.
38 years old, but goes to bed at 9 p.m. every day. I don't think Parkhurst is going to bed at 9 p.m. every day.
I don't think so. I see Parky as like a little bit of a rebel rouser, but he hides it well. But under his seersucker shorts that I just imagine Parky would wear as a seersucker. Do you know what seersucker is?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'll have to show you. It's this. Anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about with seersucker, look it up. It's undoubtedly something that I would see Parky end up wearing.
But anyway, at his age, it wouldn't be smart to play too many minutes. You want to reserve him for games where you feel he'll be best used. And then with Nagbe, I mean, Nagbe's a workhorse. He probably didn't want to get rested. He probably feels good in himself. But you've got to save him for more challenging games like the one at Red Bulls.
Yes.
You know, I feel like if you look at your two threats, you look at Vancouver on Wednesday and you look at Red Bulls on Sunday, you save your best team for Red Bulls because you see them as more of a threat than Vancouver.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do also have to look at the quality of fitness going out of the match against Orlando. Nagbe in the second half looked tired. And if you're playing, as we have been playing since the beginning of the season, a possession-based system, you want your dominant pit bull in the midfield to be well and rested to go against a pressing team, to be able to maintain that possession, to be able to stop the press. You want Nagbe to be rested, well rested, and giving him, I feel like, that week to prepare for New York is incredibly smart. And
it's not just the 90 minutes of game, it's the travel too. The travel is draining, the plane rides, the change in time. Speaking from, you know, we understand that. It's tough when you change time zones. It takes some adjusting. So I think it's a smart move. But also we do have the squad depth. We do have players that need first team minutes, because as much as some of them have been getting minutes with the twos or getting their subbed in minutes here and there, nothing compares with, you know, first team minutes in MLS.
Yeah. So let's go into a little bit about the opponent we're looking to face, Vancouver Whitecaps, and then we can talk a little bit about who we might think would slot into those positions that would be squad rotation. So Vancouver is coming off of, honestly, a hot streak that they haven't really had in a long time. So they're coming off of where they won 3 games straight. All game wins were by 1 goal.
Well, so they've won 2 games straight and then 1 tie. So they're unbeaten in 3.
Thank you. Unbeaten in 3, but still, they're not the most pressing team in a way of their attack is not the most lethal, but they are a hard team to go against. So even though they might not be somebody you worry about as much as the Red Bulls, they are still not a cakewalk at all. And additionally, one of the things that might be to their detriment is that their midfield key center starting piece, John Reese, yesterday at training went down screaming in pain and had to be helped off the field. So they're going to be missing their star midfielder. They'll most likely start Felipe, as we all know from last season's game against Vancouver Whitecaps. He's a little bit of a hothead, so that will be interesting to deal with. But they aren't necessarily the Vancouver Whitecaps that we went against last year. They attack differently. They attack more on the left side. So a lot of that pressure is going to be going through Escobar. It's going to be going through Gressel. And how do they handle that? And how do we create from understanding that pressure?
Was that a question? I'm like, I'm just mesmerized by everything you talked about.
Well, do we keep the same style of play that we've obviously honed in on for this season? This idea of possession play, this idea of passing. Do we go into Vancouver allowing ourselves to know that they may or may not sit back, or do we sort of invite them in?
I'm a big believer in that you play the style of play that you've been playing all along. I think we talked about this on a previous podcast, that it's actually a concern when you're looking too much into what the opposition does and not enough in confidence in your own ability. Right. Of course, you make the odd adjustments here and there, but if you believe in your style of play and you see it as effective, you can trust your players to handle whatever's thrown at them. Mm-hmm. I think that Escobar looked a little bit tired towards the end this weekend. I think a lot of that's to do with only having a couple of first-team games under his belt since coming back from injury. He's had sort of a rocky road with injuries. Brad Guzan.
Brad Guzan is a major component of that.
So it's tough when you haven't had that flow or you've been broken up in your game time. So I think that he may, be a little bit tired. Hopefully he's got his rest. Hopefully he can start. But he might be one of those players that needs, a break later on too, particularly if you talk about that left-hand side being their danger zone. He's going to face a lot of traffic, more than likely, tomorrow night.
So that's an interesting notion that you've brought up, is this idea of Escobar possibly needing a break, or at some point he could be subbed out. Who would we put in his place? Would that be Gallagher? Who would we slot into that right back position?
Gallagher traveled. Yes, and he has been, I've read a lot about him performing pretty well. So, it's good to give your minutes. I think it depends on how the game's going. I think that you play your first team 11 for as long as you can possibly do. And if you start getting comfortable, you make those substitutions earlier.
Yeah.
You don't want to rotate the squad too much and then, throw away results. And you also don't want to make too many changes early on if it's not going your way. But if you get a couple goals up, if we get 2 or 3 early goals, I'm hopeful. I'm ambitious, but if you get 2 early goals even, you don't want to make too many changes because you don't want to disrupt that structure. But at the same time, that's when you can make those changes, throw in players under less pressure potentially. If you're thrown into a game where it's 0-0 and you make a mistake, that's all, you're going to blame yourself. And that's not a great way to be introduced to your regular minutes.
And especially for somebody like Gallagher who has not gotten first team minutes yet. This would be a huge
It would be a big
ask.
And you want to protect your younger players in some sort of way, and that's when you can change them at low risk. So
in your mind, if we're going against Vancouver and we obviously don't have Nagby starting and we don't have Parkey starting, are we assuming Breck Shea is going to be on the left and Laurentowicz will be in the midfield with Remedi? And then from that point in time, from people who have been on the starting 11 before, we'll just start subbing in people who haven't necessarily, so Pereira or Gallagher or...
Man, I love the way Pereira plays, by the way.
Fantastic. And honestly, he came
maybe I'm biased because he's from my little area.
He is fun to watch.
He's just young, and you see he's got a heart and he's got a spirit, and I think he could be a dangerous player because he'll run with the ball, he'll take people on, he'll pick up fouls, so I would like to see him get some minutes. I like Merrim a lot. When he came on, I was just gonna, so I think he's an option to put in. He played some really exciting soccer. You only saw him for 5 minutes. He had 3 or 4 touches on the ball, but they were all positive. He drew a couple of fouls. He worked hard. He wanted to be on the field. It was exciting to watch. So
it was very exciting to watch.
We've got those options now a little bit better.
I know it sounds terrible, but I completely forgot that we got Merrim. My head's so wrapped around before he came, obviously. But that is exciting. That's an exciting notion to know that we, I guess for me, for the first time, feels like we truly have our depth there and that we're not lacking from injuries. Same going into the game against the Red Bulls. From what I believe, Mikey Ambrose has not traveled. He played this past weekend with the twos. They were away, so he is back into Georgia now. But there is a possibility that we could see Mikey up in New York and on the starting 18 for the Red Bulls. And I think that he would be a great person to slot in for some minutes at left back.
Yeah, it's good to have that squad depth, like you say, because with the schedule that's coming up, you're going to need minutes.
Yeah.
I think Pogba we saw him travel. He's a decent option. We've only seen him play a few first minutes. I've read some good stuff about him in the twos, but I think he can control the ball nice. He's a bit of a risk taker as well, a little bit too confident on the ball. I wouldn't want to have him and LGP on the same field. I think Brad might actually go through cardiac arrest if that happened. But he's a good one too, because we forget that LGP never comes off the field, you know, and he's a tank and he's got it. But at the end of the day, if you're going up several goals, it's okay to give people a break.
Right.
It's okay to switch things out, and it's good for Frank to watch, because I know he goes to watch the twos games, as we learned. But you know, there's a completely different world to watching someone play in a twos game. And that's no disrespect to the USL, but it's a different level. It's a different kettle of fish. You're with a different group of players, and you cannot judge how someone performs with one group of 11 compared to when they play with, you know, your first team 11. So
absolutely,
I think it could be a nice stage, but I think we shouldn't write off Vancouver. We shouldn't underestimate it at all. And I think it could be a tough game, particularly because of the amount of games we played in a short space of time. So
I would agree. The lack of to rest, honestly, it's just it's the expiring. It's the working of the vessels. The words will not come to me right now. But that is also interesting that you mentioned the twos, because that reminded me that Carleton also traveled. So we've been hearing all of this talk with Carleton. And
what did you make of those comments? If anyone doesn't know about it, Frank basically called Carleton out in an accurate way from what we've experienced.
In an accurate, professional way.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
He's just a little bit too immature at the moment, and he's not focused, and maybe his soccer isn't taking the priority in his life right now. There's some other distractions. Do you think that was the right thing to do publicly? I know I've read a few things about now he's kind of going to have that tag for the rest of his life. He's going to be the guy that...
I don't think he'll have that tag for the rest of his life. I think that is a coach knowing that a player is not focused appropriately. I would imagine that he's had talks with him before, that something's been said to him before. And in a world where for young people I media does matter a lot, that might be a way to sort of put him under the lights.
Were you a bit disappointed? Because I know he's young. I mean, if you know, even young compared to me, I like to think of myself as a youngster. But,
you are young.
But I think that should have learned. I thought sitting him out of the parade was a really tough thing to do. But I thought that was going to be a kick up the arse that he needed, a wake up call, you know. And it seems that maybe, and we don't know the full story of what Frank's referencing, but I know a few people that have seen Andrew in the club a few times, picking up a few lady friends.
Okay.
And do we think that maybe he should have learned his lesson? That was a pretty brutal punishment.
It is a very beautiful...
brutal. There's a big difference between brutal and beautiful.
My mouth is not working. Brutal is what I was...
You've had injections to take your canines out.
Blah, 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 blah. But no, I think that was a very distinct punishment. And I mean, for as much as his club I know means to him, that was a very hard thing.
I mean, there were academy kids on the bus and not Andrew Carleton. You know what I mean? Like there was U13 academy got to go.
Yeah, and Andrew Carleton did not. And that should have been a kick in the butt. But obviously, it wasn't. And then at what point in time do you... at that point in time, it's on him. It is on him. I have seen a lot of people, I've grown up with a lot of people that have had the same sort of thing. They're very talented, and they just throw it away. And it's not that he's throwing away. He's in training, and he's doing all these things, but it's the lack of focus. Because there are other things going on in your life, and maybe you're trying to do too many things at once. You're trying to make your social life a priority as the same as you're trying to make your professional career, and it just ends up being this whole...
He's a horny teenager in a Jaguar.
He's a horny teenager in a Jaguar.
To be fair, he changes cars every 2 weeks as well. So I think he's enjoying.
Associate producer general, just producer in general.
He's definitely enjoying being known as an Atlanta United player.
Yes.
But is he really getting the experience of an Atlanta United player that he could be if he was focused?
No.
And I think he's getting the chicks, but not the game time. So, I mean, he's got to think in his head.
He's getting the chicks, but not the balls.
I was really hoping something witty was going to come up in my head as I said chicks, and it didn't, and you hit me. So, yeah, he's not getting many touches on the balls.
But that's what it is, though.
Yeah.
It absolutely is, and
because he had first team potential. I mean, and he still does. Yes, and I'm not.
He still does.
We're not writing him off. I'm gonna get a load of hate because I'm picking on a child.
No.
But come on, you have the best opportunity in front of you in the world. So many people would freaking
you are
kill for
extremely
that.
talented. It's at this point that you just realize that with that talent comes responsibilities. I'm quoting Spider-Man right now.
What?
With great talent and abilities comes responsibility as well.
So put it away.
So Spider-Man that shit. All I gotta say.
I don't know how I feel. He's doing plenty of that.
Exactly.
He's doing plenty of that.
People know exactly what I mean about that.
He got me.
Oh wow. Moving on, as an update for some people, we're going to do game time. So Vancouver obviously will be playing
Today,
if you're listening to this, at 10 p.m. tonight. So set your DVRs if you do not want to stay up for it, although I don't know why you wouldn't.
get drinking coffee. Stay up.
Just drink coffee. Just a lot of Red Bulls, which Red Bulls coming up will be Sunday, May 15th at 5 p.m., obviously Eastern Standard. So
Exciting update. You're going.
Yes. So, if you have not been paying attention, obviously, to social medias, both me and Jay and Devin and Tanner from Atlanta United Fan TV are all going up to the Red Bulls game. We are going to be having some wonderful discussions with some wonderful people. We are going to be able to do a live studio recording with the Cooligans at Madison Square Garden. How awesome is that?
I'm pretty jealous. Maybe I should just. Who needs a dog?
Who needs a dog?
I'm kidding.
But so excited to do that. If you have not reserved your RSVP for that live studio audience, do they still have a chance, Jay? You still have a chance.
I mean, it's 2 p.m. on a Friday.
It's 2 p.m.
Anyone in New York should be working. 1 p.m. Whoops.
1 p.m. on a Friday.
Sorry. That's why I'm not going.
No, it's just play hooky. You don't need to go to work. You're fine. And, here she comes.
It's our third cast member.
Yay! But 1 p.m. on a Friday is the Cooligans studio recording. We're doing a bunch of other awesome stuff that I can't get into yet. But we will be having coverage from the Red Bulls game. A lot of social media content will be coming out of this. A lot of just great content in general will be coming out of this. Stay tuned to all of the social medias for that. It's going to be extravagant, wonderful, and absolutely soccer amazing. So I cannot wait for it. I can't wait for it. I'm super excited. Super excited. That being said, we do have an iTunes review.
And it's a nice one, because there was one not so nice one.
There was a 3-star one we did the last episode, which we appreciate your commentary. Next time, just give us 5 stars. So this one, do you want to go ahead and take this away while I try to deal with my dog?
Yeah, it says, it's from Summer Yada. And it was 5 stars. Great podcast about supporter culture around Atlanta United and community as a whole.
Hey!
Thank you, Summer Yada.
High-five you. I don't know why I'm high-fiving myself.
Oh, high-fiving Jay behind the camera. Woo!
We do a lot of great, wonderful content for the soccer community as a whole.
And we're so humble.
We're so humble. We do have something possibly coming up in the works.
Pretty certain coming up, so June 1st.
We'll announce that when we have the details and the ability
Just keep June 1st, find your calendar, put a little circle around June 1st before the Champions League, and,
swear it out, be ready to go.
It'll be fun.
Something about mimosas.
Bottomless. I believe the key word is, whoa, that accent.
It was a
bottomless mimosas. You sound like you're from.
Mimosas.
Are you from Cockney land?
I'm from Cockney land. Bottomless mimosas.
Jesus
Mary
Christ.
Poppins just rolled in the grave.
Mary Poppins just rolled in the grave. That's what he just said. So anybody that wanted to hear what Jay just mumbled to me. But that sort of is it. I mean, are there any closing words you'd like to say?
No, but let's break the record. You know, we're tied
Yes.
right now for that 4 consecutive shutout wins. Why not make it 5?
We have already broken so many records. What's another one, really?
I know Guzan really wants that record.
Yes. Oh my God.
And he's
would
gonna
he
be
not
like,
love it.
Fuck you, Jess, for criticizing me and always being so mean.
Post-match comments. Just wait for them. Jess, you know who you are.
My feet work fine, thank you.
But that's it for our show. I mean, we really hope you like it. I'm glad we're back at our studio.
Yes.
It feels good. Feels like home. But that being said, like, subscribe, share this episode if you're watching it on the Atlanta Fan TV YouTube channel. Share, like, comment, subscribe. I just said that. I'm saying it again because it's important. We appreciate your feedback. We appreciate your likes. We appreciate you sharing this with your friends. We're a shareable experience. That being said, where can they find you, Jess?
I will be at Jessica ATLUTD on Twitter.
You can find our wonderful producer, Jay Riddle, at J_Riddle on all the socials. And you can find me at the Kelly Francis on all the socials as well. And you can find all of us,
Most importantly,
in one beautiful little package at Unrelegated on all the social medias. We've got a lot of stuff coming out. Stay tuned. We cannot wait to give it to you.
Andrew Carleton, she's talking to you.